Hello friends, I'm Marlon and this is MV Pittman Cross Sim Racing. Today I'm here to talk about shaft extensions. And no, not a medical procedure, but something you would use to change the distance that your wheel is from your wheelbase. And the reason you might have that is varied. Sometimes you just need the wheel to be further away because your wheelbase is further away from you because of however you have your stuff set up. That reason can be anything. Maybe you use a wheelchair and you just need more space for your chair. Sometimes you just need a custom setup, like say for a formula car, and you want the engine, your wheelbase, to be further away and closer to your feet. So you just need something to bring that wheel up to a position where you can actually hold it. So anyway, I wanted to talk about different ways of doing that. Really, there's kind of two that I can think of. One is to actually replace the entire componentry that goes from the motor in your wheelbase all the way up to your wheel. And the other method, I guess, would be to stack additional components so that you can add something in the middle. I'm not really a fan of replacing your whole wheelbase, but that's because I like flexibility in my setup. I like to change wheels. I like to use different wheels that are actually different distances from the back of the wheel to the actual quick release. So for me, that flexibility is kind of important. And I guess a bit of a disclaimer here. This isn't that famed buy Fanatec video that I've been promising, but there's a lot of situational Fanatec stuff in here. So a bit of a trigger warning for those of you who are just, over Fanatec. I get it. Sometimes that's the way it is. So yeah, let's talk about that. If you have a Fanatec wheelbase, then there are a few things that you have to take into consideration. The first one being that Fanatec wheelbases require Fanatec wheels or hubs in order to give you force feedback. That's a decision they made a long time ago, and they've only come really close to making it right. Traditionally, you've had to use a Fanatec hub, like the Fanatec Universal Hub, which you see right here on this wheelbase, or the Fanatec Podium Hub, or what they have now is actually a Fanatec, I guess they call it a wheel hub, which is basically a quick release with the technology of a wheel embedded in it, so you can just mount it directly to a wheel. So Fanatec hub is necessary in order to get your third-party wheel to work with the Fanatec wheelbase. In addition to third-party wheels, sometimes you have third-party quick-release systems. So in this case, I have a Fanatec QR2 and an emulator, just this really small bit in here by SRM that allows you to emulate a wheel, and then the base side of a QRX quick release. If you are not familiar with that, you probably need to watch more of my videos, but I'll show you the wheel side of that. And the way those go together, you just put these together. But as you can see, you still need this part, not only to physically connect to a Fanatec wheelbase, but in order to enable force feedback on that wheelbase. So let me put this away. And get back to this. So if you are using a wheel on a Fanatec wheelbase, this distance is pretty minimal. It's about 8 millimeters. So not a big deal, but the combination of your new quick release with the old quick release, the QRX is nearly 100 millimeters. So that's going to position your wheel a bit further back. If you switch to, say, a native Fanatec wheel or something that is built like this around a Fanatec hub, that distance is going to shrink because you are a lot closer to your wheelbase. So generally, you don't want to change your position by 100 millimeters. That's crazy. So you probably also don't want to put a 100 millimeter shaft extension on your wheel, because you'd have to do that for each wheel. And Fanatec doesn't really make a shaft extension for their wheels. They make some for their wheel bases, but again, I'm into flexibility, not that permanent mounted extension. So what you may do is talk to a little company called SRM. They also made that emulator. They make a shaft extension. And the way this is worked, it's composed of a quick release that you would provide, a little base here that it doesn't emulate anything. It's just physically runs the wires that you need to connect to the wheel end of the shaft, and then gives you a long enough wire that you can put any spacer in between. So if you're wondering what the difference between a quick release and a spacer and a rim or any of that stuff, I do have a video on that as well. But the spacer here is 50 millimeters in this case, but you could get a 100 or probably even a 200 millimeter spacer. So if you decide, oh, I want to sit really far away from the wheelbase, you could get these components and then swap out this to the length that you need. Other solutions like what SimiCube provides for their SimiCube 3 actually kind of just extend the shaft by a whole lot. And I think they give you two options, like a 50 and a 100 when you buy them together. You can't buy them separately. So this offers a lot of flexibility. You can use any QR2 you find. This head end is manufactured by SRM, and it attaches to whatever you are going to buy. So basically you buy this part, which is unique to SRM, and then you buy this part, which is manufactured by SRM, and then you provide your quick release, and then you get the shaft. They sell one, but you can buy a spacer of any kind, any color, as long as it has 70 millimeters on each side. So this you would put on your wheelbase, and then when you decide, hey, I'm going to use my native wheel, but I need it to be further back for whatever reason, you just make sure those are lined up, put them in like that. So this would be on your wheelbase, stuff like that. And as you can see, it's a pretty massive extension, but what it does, it makes sure that when you switch wheels, you have the correct amount of spacing so your arms aren't just acting all crazy, out of sync, out of position, make your arms get tired like you flew in from New Mexico. So shaft extension, it's removable, replaceable, you can put it on. And that's, kind of the crux of what I wanted to talk about today, but there are some auxiliary things that I wanted to talk about. One is this wheel that you've seen. You don't know who makes it because I put this on it. This is made by a company called MZW-Sim Hardware, and I think they're based in Germany, and all they are really producing are rims. They make more than this, but this is just a rim, which is on the Fanatec Universal Hub. This is actually a rim that they do not manufacture anymore. I believe it's for a McLaren wheel, and I like it a little. I wouldn't say I like it a lot, but I saw it on an eBay auction. I decided to snap it up, and I missed it one time and said, I'm not going to miss it again. So there it is. This is the Fanatec Universal Hub. You can always change these buttons. They're on stalks, so you can move them around, and this rim just basically puts 3D printed grips with Alcantara wrap. It's really nice. It's well done. There are holes in the back for them to be attached or removed or tightened. You just need, I think, a 2 millimeter wrench to get in there and loosen those up. The main thing that I don't care for, even this isn't really a problem for me, it's more a problem of there only being one funky switch, but that's about the universal hub, not this rim. The big thing I don't like about it is this logo, and mostly it's about its prominence. Not that there's anything wrong with the logo, but if you're deciding that you want a particular logo, there's a couple of ways to deal with it. One, you could try to remove it. I assume it's just adhesive of some kind. Two, you could try to cover it. And this is simply a black disc with magnets and some, I guess, adhesive twill carbon on it. But basically, you just line up the magnets with the buttons on the top, slams into place, and then, you have a reflective surface. So definitely consider what you want that to look like if you are an Instagram hoe or something like that. But you know, I like Fanatec's universal hub a lot. I like it a lot better when you add Fanatec's podium shifter set. So what this provides is your main shifters, some top shifters, and some clutches. And you know, the advanced paddle module is great. I don't think there's really much debate about that. The magnets are large, the shift and throw are good. If you want alternate staggering of your shifters, there's a little spacer you can put in there. Yeah, they're good. The problem is that they are designed to only work with Fanatec stuff, and there's a lot of people that have worked around that. But you can also see on here I have a plastic, it's plastic, QR2 light, as they call it. It is perfectly sufficient. Even on my Fanatec DD2, I really don't have any problems with this. You can, you know, run it pretty hard. I'm sure it's been qualified up to the new 18 millimeter, Newton meter torque limit of the Fanatec. I believe it's a Club Sport DD Plus. So if it does break, you know what I'll do? I'll get a metal one and put it on there. I'm not too worried about damaging it, but there are a set of pins in there that you do want to worry about. So, you know, the biggest thing about using a Fanatec wheel with a shaft extension is the worry that you'll have this extra bit here of varying size. And I think extensible shaft is probably the best way to deal with that. If you don't like your logos, you like 3D printed things, this is something you could build. I bought it off Etsy, but I think at this point, you know, I certainly have the skills where I could manufacture this myself. So if you're interested in having something like this made, give me a contact and I'll get with you and we can work on making something like this together that fits what you need. Maybe you don't want this sticker. Maybe you want a logo on yours. Speaking of logos on your wheel, I have yet another solution from MZW-Sim Hardware. This probably looks a little familiar to you guys. This is the BMW M4 rim from MZW-Sim Hardware. They make a version that goes with the podium, I guess you call it the endurance module. I'm not rich enough to have that. So what I have here is basically the same thing, a hub and a QR for the Club Sport Universal Hub, and a rim that is made of, in this case, still aluminum. You can get it in carbon fiber, but I find aluminum to be sufficient. It doesn't have to be super light, and the little bit of flex that you get from carbon really wouldn't be a big deal. But this is available in aluminum or carbon fiber, and you still have the one funky switch and your 12 buttons, which in this case I've actually labeled with the labels that you get from Fanatec. You can also buy different colors and stickers to label those more specifically. I've also placed the advanced paddle module on it. In this case, I bought some, I guess you can see that, carbon fiber, but it's the nasty chopped looking stuff. And by nasty, I mean good. It is really good. I like it. They're bigger paddles, a little easier to press, still have the staggering there so that you don't get your fingers caught in between there. Nice to race with gloves. And, you know, if you don't want that logo, you can put a BMW sticker on there. Nobody can stop you. Customization is yours. Behold, an actual BMW wheel. I think that that is one of the best parts of customization, DIY, is that, you know, there's certainly no way that you're going to get Fanatec's BMW M4 wheel anywhere close to the price that you would pay for, you know, a Club Sport Universal Hub, a quick release of your choice, and, you know, this rim, which, you know, honestly is just a shaped piece of metal with plastic and Alcantara wrap. I believe they actually call it Indivitara, so maybe it's, you know, some proprietary blend. But, you know, if you don't mind a stiff grip, you wear gloves, not that big of a deal. if you need like that rubber molded stuff and you need all the extra functionality, or you want something that actually goes into a car, call Fanatec. They'll hook you up. They'll also charge you. So this is certainly less of a cost. I think you're looking in the realm of sub $200 for the parts you would order from MZW. And then all I did was get a metal disc and a little sticker here. I think I got off of Amazon or eBay. You can put it on there. Hopefully you get it adhered, not crooked, but if you do, no one's going to see it until you put it on Instagram yourself. Some of you guys are just too much on the internet. So yeah, one of the ways to get your wheel right is to get it the right distance. The other way to get your wheel right is to simply decorate it in a way that is exciting for you. So that's just been a little bit about the big tent of opportunities with Fanatec hardware and shaft extensions and wheel customization. So if you're wanting to show up at the big tent party, make sure that you have a large pole in the center so that everybody can fit. Until next time, I'm Marland, and this is MV Pittman Cross Sim Racing. I'll see you in the next one.